Much. Well, Danny, you know what summertime means, right?
Yes.
Millions of kids heading to camp, but there are some things to think about before you send the kids off. CBS 2's Katie McGee has the scoop on summer camp hazards.
It's an annual ritual for millions of kids, but summer camp should be about making memories, not getting hurt.
Children are not little adults. They have growth plates. The growth plates, when having a growth spurt, are very weak and vulnerable.
Dr. Kevin Plancher says that vulnerability can lead to a long list of injuries.
The common are ankles. Ankle sprains need about 3 weeks to get better. Other injuries are tennis and tennis elbow, and tennis, along with softball, it's a knee injury. We can play through many injuries with appropriate different shoe wear or braces, so we don't even have to stop our sport to get back in the game.
But getting back in the game too soon can have serious consequences. 16-year-old soccer player Ben Ginsberg's been nursing a broken ankle after suffering a double fracture 8 weeks ago.
And I felt like a pain, and I thought I felt something just like snap, kind of. But I played through it for the rest of the weekend, and then for the next week, and then the week after that. And then finally we went to the doctor.
But it's not just big injuries that can put you on the bench. Pediatrician Dr. Romina Wansier says sunburn is a serious issue.
Applying sunscreen before kids go to camp. A lot of camps have difficulty providing sunscreen for children. They can't apply it to the bodies of the child because it would be considered touching.
And don't let kids get ticked off.
It's supposed to be a very serious Lyme season. I encourage parents every day to check their kids for ticks when they come home.
As for Ben, he hopes to get back on the field soon.
It has been really tough just sitting on the sideline.
To avoid sitting on the sideline, Dr. Plancher suggests the RICE diet after injury. That's rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And if any injury hurts longer than 3 days, see your doctor. Katie McGee, CBS 2 News.
And getting back to that whole sunscreen issue, be sure to check with your child's camp to find out the specific guidelines. It varies from camp to camp.
It does. And Otis Livingston is here now with what's coming up in sports. Otis.